Hello, everyone. Welcome to another Modest Musings. My name is Fear Dragon, and today's topic is going to be about how should I put this? It's going to be about the number one thing that I think everyone just seems to forget that they can do. There's this easy way that if you love esports, if you love StarCraft, or just whatever, in a general sense, you can actually do something to help support it, to help grow it without spending a dime, not even spending that much time. You just keep watching what you're watching and enjoying what you do enjoy. You just talk about it. You just mention it. You start a conversation. And that's like one of the most underrated things I think that has come around in StarCraft. And it's one of the things that we lack the most. Uh, it's such an easy thing to do, but so few people do it these days. There's a handful of people, even amongst like the StarCraft personalities and the casters and the players and stuff. There's a handful of people that do actually talk about the games that they watch. They'll tweet about them. They'll like talk in Twitch chat and everything. But for the most part, a lot of people don't really talk about the games in StarCraft that they watch anymore. They used to. We used to, whenever I would watch like WCS or Challenger or Premier League or GSL and all these other things, I could go on Twitter. I could go into a Team Liquid Live report thread. I could go on Reddit. I could go into Twitch chat itself, and there would be this huge conversation about the games. If I didn't know that there was some big event going on, or there was even just like WCS or something, like if I didn't know that there was something epic going on, like a best of 69 going on base trade or something, I would immediately always just find out because somebody I followed on Twitter would be talking about it. Somebody that I followed in like a Skype or like there would be a Skype group or something I'd be in and people would be talking about it. Somewhere I would see that this was a huge thing. It'd be like the most bumped thread on Team Liquid. Something would happen and trigger me to go watch the stream. And this is something that we don't have many people doing anymore. If you go to even the WCS NA Challenger stuff, I understand that, of course, NA Challenger, a lot of people do not consider to be as hype as like EU Challenger, but same thing for EU Challenger. I barely saw like 4 people maybe in my Twitter feed, and I follow a lot of people. I follow all the people like that. I know all my followers and everything, so they're all usually people in the industry or semi-pros or something, or just super duper awesome individuals. But like four people were actually tweeting about things. I think one or two of them were also players as well. But that's kind of sad, right? That's really unfortunate because one thing that I tried to do for NA Challenger, like just the qualifying days, not even the actual event itself so far, since that's going to be happening today, as this is recorded on Friday. But I just started tweeting about like all the games that I was watching, and when I felt it, it wasn't like fake hype or anything like that. It's just when I had a thought, when I had some sort of feeling and like emotional reaction or whatever you want to call it to something happening in one of the games I was watching, I would just tweet about it. I would just start saying something. I would start a conversation. And I use the hashtag WCS or whatever just because I want people to realize it was a WCS match. And a lot of people, like, surprisingly, one of the big fears that I had was that I went on a huge storm. I was like tweeting once every like minute to like 3 minutes for almost 2 hours on 2 different days that I was doing this. And I was afraid that people would just start being like, oh, well, this is just like way too much tweet. This is way too many tweets. I'm going to unfollow you or I'm going to block you or whatever. Like, people didn't do that. I actually got more followers from it. And people thanked me and said, hey, yeah, I wouldn't have known that WCS was on. I forgot about it. I had no idea that it was happening today. Like all these kinds of things. And it makes a huge impact. That's just me. Imagine if a lot of other people were doing this. This is how I think, this is one of the biggest ways that the StarCraft community as a whole can actually reach out to that giant group of people that tune in for the big premiere events but don't tune in for a lot of the other small events. It's not even necessarily that they aren't willing to watch it. It's that they don't know about these other events. They don't know about, and sometimes they don't even know about the bigger events. sometimes they don't feel like there's anything worth watching until someone goes and watches or talks about it and says like, whoa, there's like this crazy thing like Scarlet is cannon rushing. Like that sounds like a lot of fun, right? Scarlet off racing as a Protoss player and cannon rushing a bunch of players in WCS matches. Like that's awesome. That sounds like a great time. Uh, but people don't talk about it. So what I really want to just see more people do, whether you're a person in the industry who I think it'd be really actually important for those people to start getting on board with this, because once there's a conversation, not only do people know about it, but they get hooked in. Like there's a reason to get involved and to respond. You say something like, man, I think that this person's like way ahead after that engagement or something, and someone responds, and yeah, well, they are not always the most nice responses. You can get a lot of like cool responses where people like get into little like tussles on Twitter, where it's like, no, well, this person's like super far like ahead. Actually, they're not behind because of this, and this. Like, you get interesting conversations that I guess like get stimulated instead of just absolute deadness. Even I would actually say like this is a big problem on streams like Base Trade TV. I feel like most of the chat is, I mean, and it's cool because I feel like Base Trade TV has their own culture and everything, but most of the chat isn't about the games usually. It's about random things that the casters bring up sometimes, and it'll be about like the Gather bot, like their little Twitch bot for getting items and everything, which is awesome. I don't want that kind of stuff to stop for those kind of communities, but there's not a lot of conversation about the games because when there really cool things are happening, there'll be like 3 people who will react to something really cool, and that's sort of it. When there's like 3,000 people watching, same thing for like Wardy's stream or my stream. I feel like a lot of the time there's just no conversation about the really cool things that are happening on the stream. I feel like that's unfortunate. I feel like we've developed this culture of ambivalence where people don't care enough anymore to talk about it. They just sort of have their own personal self-enjoyment and then they just move on. And I understand where a lot of people come from with that. I was also one of the people like causing this problem. I was one of the people that wouldn't tweet it about all the games that I was watching and everything. I wouldn't be constantly engaging myself in the conversation. And I really regret that. I really, really regret not doing that more. So it's something I'm trying to make an active effort for now, and I hope that other people join me on this. Whether you're a content creator, whether you're a viewer, or whatever, get involved on whatever media platform you prefer, whether it be Twitch chat or if Twitch chat's a little bit too crazy and toxic for you, as it is for me. Get on Twitter. If Twitter is not your jam, then get on Reddit. If Reddit's not your jam, get on the Team Liquid Live report thread, which, you know, the one caveat I will say is that one place I do see discussion is I feel like GSL is like the only place I see that kind of discussion. The only place where I would see, or I used to see, like the GSL hype threads about Tastes and Narcosis, funny comments and whatever on Reddit, and the Team Liquid Live report thread. While not as amazing as it used to be, where it'd be like there's a GSL group, it goes to like page 150. It's still goes to like page 25 or something. Like it still gets some good distance and everything. But I do feel like that's the one place where we actually see some kind of okay conversational response is GSL. I see tweets about it and everything whenever I wake up after a night of GSL. And I really just wish we could even just hit that level with other events. So I hope you guys decide to join me. And yeah, have a wonderful, wonderful weekend and enjoy WCS NA Challenger. I will be tweeting about it if I'm not casting. I will probably end up casting day 1, and I'll be tweeting a shitstorm up on day 2 of just all of my feelings and all of my concerns and love and hate and passion for the players. So have a wonderful day, guys.